Easily, the number one question, the number one thought that I see when people think about retiring early is, will I have enough money to retire? Today, we're going to figure that out for ourselves here on a special edition of Friday After the Bell. Greetings, and salutations to all my brothers and sisters out there. I hope you are having a wonderful holiday. You're out celebrating your Independence Day. And today, that's exactly what we want to talk about. We want to talk about your independence from the time clock, your independence from the alarm clock, your independence from people telling you what to do. Your financial independence in retiring early is the purpose today. You know, I see so many videos all the time on YouTube and everywhere else of them telling you you need X amount of dollars to retire early, or you need 4% rule, 7% rule, how about a 5% rule, 10% rule, all this other nonsense of people telling you how you should retire and how much money you need to retire. They don't even know you. They don't even know your situation. How can anybody say X marks the spot, you get to this much money and you can just live however you want or however you don't want for the rest of your life, however long that may be? It's nonsense. All that's nonsense, and everybody's retirement is absolutely unique to them. My retirement isn't going to look the same as your retirement. Where do you live? You know, what's the expenditures there? How much lavishness do you need? How little do you need? Maybe you want to look down the road to buy a boat. Maybe you want more cars. Maybe you're going to end up with a late kid in life. No curse there. But you know, maybe your kids are going to just keep on having grandkids. There's no way you could retire at 40 and predict what you're going to need at 80. You know, life's crazy. There's too much stuff that happens in and out of it. And there's no way you can just watch somebody's video that says, hey, you know, you get $1 million and only spend 5% of it, you'll be gold. Well, of course, whatever. That's that's a made up number. That's just a fantasy world. What we need to do is find out what your number is. What do you need to retire? Where do you live? What are the numbers based on your needs? Are you a person that likes to travel a lot? Are you a person that likes to eat out a lot? Are you in a beach community where it's kind of expensive? Are you living in the mountains where it's not very expensive? All these expenditures and all these factors are absolutely key to figuring out what we need for retirement. There's just no way that we can figure out our costs without diving into what they are specifically. What is our healthcare cost going to be? What is the inflation rate going to be after 20 years? Is Social Security going to work out for me? You know, for years and years and years, we've always believed these lies, or not really lies, but these things that are told to us, and some of them are lies. We just accepted them blindly. Hey, you got to be 65-year-old to retire. Hey, Social Security will take care of you. Hey, maybe your pension will work out after you retire from the plant that you've worked at for 40 years. Hey, these things change, and none of them are going to be the same. We can't depend on Social Security. We can't depend on pensions. We can't depend on an IRA because we never know what's going to happen with those things. We need to depend on ourselves. But first, before we can depend on ourselves, is we need to have a number to know what we need to depend on. You need to go in there and get your number and figure out the money you need to retire. You're like, well, Jeff, if I knew that, then it would be a simple thing. And I don't really know how to even figure out the number. But that's why we're here today. We're here to use Claude AI, and AI, whatever it may be. Maybe you're a chat GPT person, but AI can get you to a place where you have a usable, workable formula and number that you can go off of for your retirement. I mean, let's use these things for something good, something useful, and something very helpful. You get in there and they're going to know, hey, you need X amount of dollars if all works out this way according to your plan and your numbers and your metrics. So what we want to do is we want to be able to manage our own money. We want to be able, and we are fully capable of managing our own money. We've managed our own money our whole life, but when it comes to maybe other facets of it, we look at it differently. We look at maybe we can't manage our brokerage account. Maybe we can't manage our IRA or our Roth IRA, and it's all nonsense. Those people, and I'm not disparaging, no shade, they are what they are. The money manager people aren't your employee. They don't work for you. They have your money and they're working for somebody else who tells them where to invest it, how to invest it, and what companies to invest it in. If you don't like Amazon and that company wants to invest in Amazon, then you can bet your bottom dollar that you're getting put into Amazon. They can't stop and pivot and make trades like we do. They can't run options trades like we do. Take them off 50%, take them off 75%. Judgment calls. Hey, how far is it going down? How far is it going up? Do we need to stack these trades? Do we need to layer on more things? Are we looking to, I mean, they can't do what we can do in the private sector nowadays. Nothing wrong with putting your money in money manager's hands, but just understand, limit your expectations. Because even if you lose money, they still get paid. Even if they make a huge mistake and you lose all your money, they still get paid. So your money is not their importance. I mean, I'm not being mean or harsh. Your money is important to you. That's why you need to manage your money. And that's what the purpose of this whole channel is. That's why we get together and talk about stock strategies and options and different stocks that may be in play and how to play those. We are not going to depend on other people to make our money. And why is that? Because we sometimes might need to scale our money in retirement. Let's say we get retired and you do have 3 more grandkids that come along. Well, now all of a sudden your metric has changed. You need to scale up a little bit. Well, that's super simple to do when you trade in the stock market or in the options world. You just scale up your money. You can't just go to Social Security and be like, hey, I need a few more bucks. You can't tell your pension plan I need a higher rate of return on the year. You have to be able to scale your income. You have to be able to grow your own pile. You have to be able to make it happen for yourself. If not, you're going to live a life that's very limited. You're always going to be worried about the right side of the menu. You're always going to be worried about, can I afford this? I only have X amount of dollars each month, or I've already spent this much money this month and I still have 2 weeks left. Oh my God, that's no way to live. That's no way to live out our great years. We need to plan and get it moving now to where we can scale our income as we see fit for the things we need to do. Hey, let's say you're retired and all of a sudden you're like, all the grandkids or all your kids want to go and move to the beach area. Well, now you're at the beach area. Now your target has changed. Your number is different. Maybe now, like I say, you want to buy a boat for the kid, jet skis are running around, toys for this. Maybe you want to put a pool on in the house. There's so many things that can alter this one X amount of dollars is going to be fine for you every month. It's nonsense. So let's figure it out for ourselves. We use ChatGPT. We can get into ChatGPT, ask questions, and it will give us a very nice estimate that we can always change, go back to, alter, add to, whatever we need to do. So let's look at how exactly we might do that. One of the main questions we want to ask Claude is, what's going to be our burn rate? How much money am I going to need tomorrow versus today, just in regular expenditures? And I can tell you, people that retire always say you cannot underestimate how little you actually need once you get off the corporate plantation. You know, you don't use as much gas, you don't use as much this, you're making meals at home. There's just so many little things that add up to this nice number. So you need to decide, what is my expenditures today in the basic life versus tomorrow? Well, we can do that through Claude, simply by asking Claude to calculate in a burn rate for us. We also have a time horizon. What are we talking about? Do you plan, or are we talking about you retiring early at 60, or are we retiring early at 40? Both create a different time horizon with a lot of different factors in it, whether it be inflation or just regular, prices going up and everything else, healthcare costs going up. And there's another thing right there. You got to put into Claude healthcare. I am going to need healthcare. How much healthcare are you going to need? Are you a person right now that knows you might be a little bit more needy in your later years, or are you a person that's relatively healthy and may not? And I can tell you, coming from the healthcare world, that if you have to spend time in a nursing facility or skilled nursing or anything of rehab nature, it is expensive. People in residence that I know that live there, some residents have been there over 10 and almost 20 years living in the nursing home. And at about $8,000 to $10,000 a month, you can go ahead and do the math on that real quick, how long your savings is going to last if you have to live there. And if you can't afford to move in a nursing home, here in the state that I worked in, you have to sell off every single thing you own basically and have nothing. And once you have nothing, then the government will give you everything, and they will take your Social Security, and here you will get $50 a month to live on. I mean, is that the way we want to go out? Absolutely not. Very rare, very, very, very rare was the resident who stroked out checks every month to live in the nursing home. But you know what? If the chips are down and that's what has to happen, if you're a trader, you can make that happen. You can stroke out checks every month to pay for the nursing home, trade in the nursing home. And you know what? It's not that bad. I mean, the nursing home I worked in, as a chef, we just slaughtered it. I mean, we made a fantastic menu. I mean, they had steak, bacon wrapped shrimp. I won't even get into that every day. And it was a very nice facility at a very reasonable cost, but it's still $10,000 a month. It's still the government taking all your money so that they can pay for your medical care. I'm just saying, you have to think about these things too. And I know nobody likes to talk about that kind of stuff, but when you're putting in your numbers for retirement, you need to put those in to your Claude calculation. You need to think about what's the floor, what's the base that I could, probably live off of, if I had to. versus what is my ceiling? What would I love to have that I could just live as I wanted to? If I wanted to go on a cruise, I go on a 2-week cruise. If I wanted to do this, I go do that. It also varies if there's you and somebody. If you're a single guy, you're a widower or a widow, you might calculate those numbers different than if it's you and your wife. Maybe you had a kid late in life and you know that guy's going to be stuck around till you're 65. So you know those calculations all have to go in. Those variables all have to be put into Claude. You don't have to do a single solitary special thing. You just simply open up Claude AI, you ask these questions, you tell them your purpose, and Claude will even ask you questions. Hey, what about this? Hey, what about that? Would you like long-term health care insurance? What about insurance? How many cars will you have? You have this, you have that. How many houses do you have insurance? They will help you round in your number. I mean, if you tell them, this is what I'm doing, I'm here to calculate my retirement costs, how much money I need to retire safely. And again, this isn't going to be an exact number. This is going to be a number that easily can vary. So don't take it as carved in stone. Take it as something that can help you greatly. So get in there and ask Claude, hey, this is the purpose of this query. Then go in there and start putting in, here's my cost, here's where I live. Do I live in Montana or do I live in California? There are two different variable costs for those two states. Talk about your insurance rates now. Claude can calculate a percentage of increase. And after you get all of your numbers in there, hey, how risky do you want your life to be? How risky are you? I mean, do you really want to be safe with money? Or, you'd be like, okay, somewhere in the middle. It's all about you. There's no way you can watch some video that says just do this and you'll be fine. This video is not that. And this channel's not that. This isn't a bunch of bullshit that always tells you, well, you just do this and you'll be fine. And whenever it doesn't work out for you, it worked out for me. And it's nonsense. This channel's built on getting you retired and doing it in a safe way that keeps scaling. Maybe you've got a hobby-tunity out there that you love to do. That's a great scalable income that we always talk about. Maybe you like to fix cars, maybe you like to restore cars, maybe you're a bodywork person, maybe you're a gardener, a baker, a butcher, a baker, a candlestick maker, it doesn't matter. You can scale that and make money at it, and that's all part of your equation that goes into Claude. If I wanted to, make $200 a month at a farmer's market, I'd plug that in there. If I wanted to have a food truck to which I think would generate X amount of dollars, I'd plug that in there. I may even ask Claude first, hey, what would a food truck generate here at these kind of locations? You can really get in there and dial it in by using Claude AI for your purposes. And I highly recommend that you do it. Get in there, just do a little bit of work for yourself. It will absolutely reward you greatly. You can't pause. It's just like I always said a lot about, people, asking questions to strangers of what works for their life. You will have to figure out what works for your life. And Claude AI can absolutely be a great agent to help you figure out the dollar amount that you need for retirement. It's going to look, it's going to look maybe high to you, maybe it's going to look low to you, whatever, it may shock you completely. But knowing is half the battle. And the more you know, we can then begin to plan around it. If we see that number and it's like, oh my gosh, I need to get in gear, I need to plan better. Well, then just do that. If you're like, okay, I'm in pretty good shape, well, feel comfortable, but don't get resting on your laurels. We want to retire early. We're going to do it with the stock market, whatever your avenue may be. Maybe you're a real estate person or whatever the case is. But we have to figure out the number for ourselves and not depend on somebody just from a video telling you, hey, you need 7% of $1 million and it'll last you for the rest of your life. Well, how long are they planning for the rest of your life? 10 years, 20, 50? I mean, let's be realistic. Let's do some work. Let's get in there. Let's figure out our numbers and let's see what we need to achieve our freedom. To get true freedom of living life is exactly how we want it to. So get in there, pull up Claude AI, download the app, whatever you got to do, create an account, and start working on the numbers and refining your numbers. And you can keep that conversation and just keep adding to it, building to it, referring to it for as long as it takes. So that can be kind of your conversation for years to come. That gives you a running kind of look into your future of what you need to retire. Hey, I thank you for coming in today. I hope you enjoy the long weekend. I hope your market strategies are going great and your retirement plans are going even better. So keep up the good work. Thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe if you'd like, and we'll see you next time here on Trading in Your Future.